So here, this is our job view. Right now you're seeing sort of the private, or rather the public view of the jobs list. Very minimal information. Everything's represented by percentages. Here you can see how much of the project has been collected and how much of the budget has been used. Here, for example, we've collected 30% of the project total, and we've used so far 21% of the budget. Now, if you as an administrator want to view this with a bit more detail, you'd have access to turn off this public view and now view the private view. So that same project, we could see approximately how much those percentages relate to. Here, for example, we've collected 32%, but we've used none of the budget so far. And you can see a little bit more detail in regards to it. Now, that said, there are multiple views for projects. You can have the Kanban view, similar to what we saw before, where you could change the status of the project based just by moving it to a different column that represents that status. There is the Gantt view, which shows it on a timeline based on when the project's going to start and when it should end. And you can see all of your concurrent projects as needed or as necessary. Now, that said, as an administrator, you also have the ability to see the planned views. So this has more to do with projects that are going to go over budget or over time based on the predetermined time that you've had. So say, for example, this project here, I can see that even if we started working on it today, the soonest we'd be able to finish it would be by essentially Halloween, right? Because it does have so many hours still pending for this project. And this is a project that should have been finished on the 26th. It really does give you a lot more detail. Now, these are also projects down here that haven't started yet. So once they start, boom, they would be done. This one, the earliest by Halloween. This one could be done the same day. This one, for example, if we started today, would be done by Saturday the 27th, for example, and so on and so forth. Now here, we also have the geoposition view, which shows all of your projects on a map view. So you can see sort of how they physically relate to one another. You could scroll in and scroll out as necessary. And if you hover, you'd be able to see the project name, the address, and a little picture pulled up by Google Maps. And you can hop directly into any of these projects by clicking on the project number. Now, returning back to the list view, let me find one that's got some information to it. Let's say this one. So I'm hopping into this project just to show you what this is full of. So here you have the standard job information associated to it, who is the owner of the project, what the bill type is, what the location is, the current status, and of course that Google image picture of the project. Here in the scope, you can see the tasks associated to it, the total project hours. This looks like a relatively small project. Looks like a little 40-hour project, of which 8 hours have been executed. That's all based on time that's been entered within the system. You have the start date and the estimated end date based on that start date. And of course, you have the statuses associated to it. Beyond that, you can see all the billing information. Now, something that's important to keep in mind is that in PASconcept, all the entities, whether it's an opportunity, a proposal, or a job, it's kind of like a little binder. And that binder can be divided into a bunch of sub tabs. Here you have the job info tab, the scope tab, the billing tab, where you can find all the information relating to it within it. Here you can see the invoices generated for this project. You can see any payments that have come in relating to this project. You can see the employees that you may have assigned to this project. In this case, it's just one employee that's been assigned 40 hours. You can even view the original proposal, and if you have to make a change order, that can be done directly through here as well. Expenses, say for example, if you had a subconsultant, you can add a subconsultant to your expenses. You can generate an expense report based on it. You can even track payments to those subconsultants through here as well. Any notes, like we've said before, any activities they're in, and this inspection section which right now we're also adding a survey section to it as well, which would allow you to establish, implement, execute surveys all from here and the mobile app as well.